So you can see it's not shining anymore. I was waiting enough to be able to remove the masking fluid. So let's start to eliminate the masking fluid, just rubbing off with your clean finger carefully. You can change your fingers when it gets dirty, or just make sure if it gets paint on, you're not continuing with that finger. So try very carefully. If it's not coming, don't force it. Just wait until it's drier. I'm not saying it's entirely dry, but it's really close to really close to dry completely. Otherwise, just stop, because you will destroy the surface of a paper and you destroy our work. So make sure you can eliminate the masking fluid without danger, and then eliminate it. So when you have that, you see the mark with the masking fluid is entirely white. I'm zooming in a little bit. I want to paint a little bit the details on the face. I usually, especially where the whiskers touching the face, I'm not keeping that white usually. Maybe the edge of the whiskers is okay, but the beginning I shading off, and I want to see a little bit the eye. I chose a photo specifically without too much details on face or eye, because it's difficult. I didn't want to complicate it with that right now. So watch the photo, compare where to do what. Sorry, I think I said it was an Archie's paper. It's a Langton Prestige, which is as good as the Archie's. I really like it. Actually, it gets less wavy than the Archie's. So I'm going on to the face now, because it's changed. When you remove the masking fluid, it's a new situation. So I'm trying to get the shading right, and while I'm doing, I'm adjusting those white areas I got from the masking fluid. There is no details on the eye on a photo, so it's really good. It's just a lighter shape. The only job here is to get the shape placement and size and shape right. So, and then just add a little light greenish yellow in it, or even just a gray would be fine, with maybe a little orange in it, but just a lighter shape there. And now I had the masking fluid around the ear, and that's a really good thing, because while the paper was wet, the masking fluid didn't let the ear spread into the paper. So I suggest that, because the ear is so thin and it's very sharp, the masking fluid is at this point is really useful, because you don't want to mess like a dirty paper around the ear. So I really suggest masking fluid around the ear. But now it's not there. Although the paper is very dry now, not 100%, but it's dry. Theoretically, it's not flowing anymore. If you make an error, you still just wipe it off. You can see I did. And I'm trying to draw it more carefully. I'm not good with tiny details, that's for sure. So I'm trying to get that ear right. And hopefully not going back after. And then add some continuous color to the rest of the head. I try to wet back most things because I want to change things on the back especially. It's really washed out grayish color. I don't like it. It's not a rich black, which I'm going for. But there are stuff which I don't want to touch, like if I am lucky, it will stay intact. Like for example that blooming behind the left paw. If you have to put big amount of paint somewhere, you can just use another brush which only contains water and go with the water next to it, so then it's not giving you edge. So just put the black or whatever color area with the dense pigment, and on the edges just watery brush, just very loosely. Don't just wipe once only, because you will loosen up otherwise the previous layers. But if you do it right, that new layer of paint will flow a little bit into the water, but it means there will be no edge where you added the new layer. So now I am eliminating those very white region. I using just a very dirty brush, not very black, and put a layer of grayness around. So it's still visible it's clearly visible where the masking fluid was, but it's just not giving that very unnatural hyper white color. If it's too dark, you just wipe it a little bit with the paper and it will be fine. So I'm trying to get the eye shape right. It's not colored yet, but just make sure the black is on the right spot. It's good to color when it's dry. A little more grayness on the beginning of the whiskers because it was too bright. So I want to repaint this all back area. It's just too transparent, too washed off. I want much more rich black there. And so you can see the whole head area is re-wetted now, and I'm just pulling those wetness down and close it with the previously re-wetted leg area. I just don't want too much edge, so I try to get everything a little bit wet, so the blackness, which I'm usually applying on the back side, it won't have a straight edge. It's just flowing into that wetness, so it generates a continuous layer because I don't want edges. Of course, if I want edges, that's perfect, but I don't. The other method to do this is when you add color, which I just did, you can wipe off the edges with smoothing it up. So then you don't get edges. That's another method to eliminate these edges after you repaint on a drier paper when it's not flowing into together. That's the two things you can use. You can use water to make a washed off edge, or you can use a wipe and just smooth up that edge. So with watercolor always is a really big difficulty to finish because you always will see something you wanna change, and the end is usually you just overdo it. So it's tricky. I wanna add those dense blackness on the back for sure, and some lighter color, and maybe even just So some orange and maybe even blue, just to cover up that really wiped up, washed off area, which I don't like. So I'm adding that, and after that, let's see what else left. So I just want much richer there. So I'm trying to eliminate that hard edge there, so I just re-wet again the paper with the clean big brush and clean water, so that the paint, the edge can flow into a little bit, and around the tail too, so you don't get those really hard edges. But I want the hard edge around the ear and other places, but not the back and the tail. Where it's flowing, you just wipe right away, so I can see it's flowing out. So I have to wipe right away if I don't want, like, for example, now coming from a neck.